Hey, and welcome to graphic editing. We're going to use Gimp. If you are not familiar with Gimp, Gimp is a GUI image manipulation program. And if you want to get some instructions on how to install that, just see me if the machine you have doesn't already have it. This is available on multiple platforms, so you can get it for operating systems like Linux. So that includes Ubuntu. You can get it for Windows, obviously, and Mac. So I'm using the Mac version today. But this is GIMP, and what we're going to use GIMP for is to manipulate images for various reasons. You're going to use it for different things. You're going to use it basically anytime you would want to use Photoshop. You are going to use GIMP because GIMP is free. Photoshop is pretty expensive depending on the version that you get. And what you want to do with it. So all your plugins and everything. So this software is going to enable you to edit graphics and a specific type of graphics, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. What I want to do today is, or in this tutorial, is go through a couple of the tools here and how to get images into GIMP itself. So we're going to start with how to get images into the program. Now there's a number of ways to do this. Of course, if you want to get it off of Google Drive, or if it's a photo you've taken with your phone, you can do it that way and save it to your computer and open it. The most basic way for the things that we're doing with laser cutter, t-shirts, that kind of stuff, is just to use Google. So we're going to do a little image search here. And I apologize for the computer being a little sluggish right now. There we go. All right. And we're going to go to images. Once we've typed in whatever our search topic is, you're going to go to images. And what this does is I ask that everybody use Google Chrome in their searches, because Google Chrome is not going to crash as often, and it's going to give you the same search results for everybody. So if we look at this image here, this is obviously a photoshopped image of an elephant jumping. Elephants don't really stride out like that if they jump at all. So we're going to look at a couple of these pictures. What I want you to note first is if I put my mouse over the image, you're going to get a number in the bottom left-hand corner. That number here is the resolution. So that resolution on this image, 1666 by 1200, that's a pretty large image. If you move over to 600 by 400, that's not so large. So if you were printing, or you wanted to print this photo out for, say, a poster or a t-shirt, or heaven forbid, a billboard, this is a tiny, tiny image. Okay, so just be aware of that. If you want to change that to make sure you always have large images, you're going to do search tools, size, and you're going to change this to large right here, and that'll give you large size images. But we're just going to deal with what we have right here to start with. So let's take this, we look at this first guy here. I'm going to click on the image. It's going to bring up, this is a thumbnail image, this small one. The larger image here is not the correct resolution. So if you see this resolution is 2592 by 3888, this is not the right size. You're going to have to go to View Image, and it's going to pull up the full size image, and you're going to see a lot more detail and a lot less pixelation. So I'm going to go Copy Image, and then I'm going to pop back into GIMP, and we're going to go File, Create from Clipboard. Okay, so that if you are bringing in an image, you can't do edit, paste. There's nothing to paste. You can go in here and do paste as new image, but the correct way is file, create from my clipboard. So that's going to pop up the image of the elephant. Now I have the image into GIMP, and I can start to manipulate it a little bit. So I'm going to work with this one just for a little while, and I'll see if I can find something else to go up in this area. Maybe we'll spruce this elephant up just a little bit. So first thing I want to go through is, now that you have it in here, you have this tab over here on the right side. Some of you, when you open up GIMP for the first time, it's going to look like this. You're going to have separate windows, and you do not want to close any of these windows. You're going to have your toolbox, you're going to have your layers and brushes. So we'll talk about all these as we get to them. But the main thing is, don't close windows. This is your main work panel. This is your layers, and then your toolbox is on the other side. First thing you're going to want to do is go to Windows at the top and do single window mode. Okay, that's going to put everything together so you can't accidentally close them and get rid of something you're going to need. So now that I put the elephant in here, you can see that on this side, the elephant pops up over here and it says pasted layer. This is actually think of this as clear sheets of paper or transparencies. You can stack them on top of each other, and one goes on top of the other, goes on top of the other. So I'll show you what I mean with that really quick. I'm going to get a picture of a bird here. So let's just do let's take an egret. I want to make this as quick as possible, so I'm not going to do one that has a large background. Yeah, I'll take this guy right here. View image, right click, copy image, okay? Pop back to Gimp. And again, we're going to do edit. Instead, this time, this is my second layer. So only for the first layer do you do edit, paste as, edit, paste as new image, or create from clipboard. Every other layer, do edit, paste as, new layer. So that's going to put another layer over here, and it says clipboard, and now you see this bird is really small up here. The reason is that bird is 301 by 200 pixels. It's tiny. Okay, so I totally expected it to be small, and that's okay for what I'm doing here, because I'm going to put this bird off in the background, so we're okay. So I'm not going to go through what all I'm doing right now, because I just want to show you the layers. Okay. All right. All right, so this bird is on my layers, and it is above the layer with the elephant in it. Okay, so if you have a couple options over here. You can hide the layers, so you can just see each individual. So now you can see the bird, but not the elephant. If I click on it again, you can see the elephant. I can hide different elements of it. You can click on these, double click, and you can retype the name. Let me do that here. There's bird, and we're going to call this one elephant. So you just click on it, and then you can rename it. So now I have those named, and if I move, what I want you to notice is if I move one behind the other, they will totally eclipse one another. So if I take the elephant and move it to the top, I've just clicked on it, moved it to the top. The bird disappears. The bird is not gone. It is still a layer. It is still on my image. They're just stacked, and this one is on top of the other one, so you can't see it because the background is not translucent or clear. Okay, so that little bird now looks like it's in that image. It was not there. So this is how you use layers, and that's a big part of using Gimp, is using this layers. Another section in Gimp that you're going to need to use is the undo. So over here, being concerned with this today is you got your layers and you have your undo history. What this does is allows you to look back across the course of, since you put the image in, and you can go back and take out steps and do undo. So you can click one of these steps and go down here and click undo, and it will go back a step. You can also hit Control Z, and that'll go back a step. So if I'm out here doing something and I erase something, see if I can do this here. Oops, I'm on the wrong, there we go. Okay. If I erase something by accident, Control Z, will fix it. Control Z or Command Z. If you're using Command Z, it's because you're on a Mac. Control Z, just try which and see which one works. Or you can do the undo and go back. And it says eraser right here, and I would just click undo. And it will go away. Okay, so that is the basics for getting an image into Gimp and how to use your layers over here. You can move things around in your layers. You can turn things on and off, but do not, what we want to stay away from is, I still have this bird on my clipboard. So if I go up to the top and I do edit, paste, that's just going to stick that bird. It says floating selection. This is what you want to stay away from. We don't want floating selection in our images for the most part, because this floating selection, once I have moved it wherever it's going to be, and then I anchor it by clicking off of it, my little icon moves to an anchor, my cursor changes to an anchor, it's going to be stuck. And now there's nothing I can do. You can see just barely here that this is part of the elephant image. And now we have this white here and there's nothing I can do with it. So I'm going to Command Z and go back and get rid of that one just by hitting delete. Or I can come over here and right click on a layer and hit delete also. Okay, so that's how you get an image into Gimp, and I want you to practice that and get a couple things in, and then we can move on to some of the tools over here and what you can do now that you know. But I want you to get an image in. Remember, your first layer is File, Create from Clipboard. Second one is Edit, Paste as, New Layer. And so is your third and your fourth and your fifth, and however you want to do that. Okay, you can work with multiple images up here at the top, and we'll talk about that later, but this is all for this one. Just need you to practice some. Okay.